Super Paper Mario is an extremely easy game, to the point where the final boss can easily be defeated in under 5 hits. The main reason for that is level ups increase your attack in this game, unlike in the first two Paper Mario games. This gave me the idea to try to beat the game while collecting the lowest amount of points possible, which are the source of level ups in this game. The only rule here, aside from not collecting points, is that I can also not lose any points, because technically, I could just grind to an absurd level, and then get back to 0 points, which would make this challenge pretty pointless. Points can be given to you in many ways, performing stylish moves, using items, but the most problematic one is defeating enemies. With that out of the way, let's get the challenge started. The challenge starts pretty easy. 1-1 and 1-2 have no issues in them. 1-3 however has a boss fight against Old Chunks. Nothing much we can do about him, we just kill him and move on. 1-4 is a similar story, forcing us to defeat Fractal. The challenge has been a breeze so far, but it won't stay that way for long, as in 2-1 we need to defeat some enemies to reveal a key to progress. Luckily for us, there's a single item in the game that actually lets us defeat enemies without getting points, the catch card. You forgot about the catch card. Anyway, there's an issue. Catch cards are unobtainable at this point of the game, as the catch card shop is unlocked using Boomer and Flipside, who we only unlock a couple rooms later in this same level. There is an arcade in Flipside that also sell catch cards, but the elevator together is out of service. So how we will get catch cards? Well, if we clip through this bridge right here, we can access the lower part of Flipside, reveal these blocks with Chippy, and cross through this tunnel to reach an elevator. Riding it up will reveal us that the out of service elevator was final along. Cool. Thanks game. Anyway, we go to the arcade and get some catch cards. With that, we go back to the room with the enemies. Catch cards aren't actually guaranteed to work, so we need to get a bit lucky here. After a couple of totally legit attempts that did not involve using outside resources like save states in any way, we managed to get through the enemies while not collecting a single point. But that's not even the end of this level. Right before unlocking Boomer, we have to kill this girl Miba. Except we don't actually have to unlock Boomer right now. We can completely skip him by doing a 1-frame jump here, and unlock him by completing the level instead. I could have just bought another catch card, but I had forgotten about this guy earlier, and I had a live stream in store, so might as well. Now, we can finally move on from 2-1. Luckily for us, the next two levels, 2-2 and 2-3, are just played completely normally. 2-4 is a bit of a different story though. There's a Mimi boss fight here, and we can't really avoid her, so 2000 extra points in the bank. Now chapter 3 is gonna be really problematic. Unlike the previous two chapters, this one has a boss fight at the end of every single sub-chapter. But before even getting to the first one, in 3-1 we have to blow up Bowser's castle. And yeah, this only happens with enemies on screen though. If we do this stupid bounce off of this Bullet Bill Blaster replacer with Throw, Glide with Peach, press 1 at this very precise time and grab the other Bill Blaster, and then do this other stupid jump, we can finally get on top of the castle and throw the enemies off screen, blowing Bowser's castle up without collecting any points. Bowser is actually the first instance of an actually threatening boss in the history of this game. He's not really that hard, but he's pretty annoying because we have to blow him up 20 times, and that takes a lot of patience. Actually, I should probably mention I could have used more catch cards to defeat those enemies in 3-1. But I didn't want even more RNG in this run. Anyway, we move on to 3-2 and oh look, more RNG. It took me around 8 minutes to get past this room, even with save states. Luckily for us, the big blooper doesn't actually give us any points. We can just kill him, I guess. 3-3 has a dimensional fight, which gives us 1000 points. 3-4 might just be the hardest level in this challenge. First off, when you hit this switch to unlock carry, the robots from the other side of this room just die for some reason. So we gotta skip her for now. We do this by using a gold bar clip in this room. Switch to Slim and throw the gold bar parallel to the wall you wanna clip through. Jump onto it perpendicularly to the wall. And while on the grabbing item animation, press 1 and 2 at the same time, which will open the quick menu. Switch to any other pixel that isn't Slim, and hold the direction of the wall you wanna clip through, and boom, you clip through it. Unfortunately, that is by far the easiest out of the two things you have to do in this level because for some reason, Francis doesn't give points when none of his bombs kill him. Now that wouldn't be the worst with a normal boss, but Francis can turn invisible whenever he wants to. Luckily we can still grab him, which made the fight still really annoying, but a bit more manageable I guess. Now it's time for chapter 4, potentially the most boring chapter for this challenge. 4-1, 4-2, and 4-3 have no difficulties in them whatsoever. After completely destroying Mr. L, who gives us 2000 points because he sucks, we have to fight the Brobot. This is the first boss in the game with more than one defense, meaning we can't damage him through normal means. Fortunately for us, in the Mario universe, random candy bars that give superpowers to green aliens fly through space. With the power up and missile candies, we can have an attack output that will deal 1 damage to him per missile. Also, if you shoot one of his missiles, you get 10 points because, I don't know. After shooting 255 missiles, we destroy our hands and move on to chapter 5. 5-1 and 5-3 are pretty uneventful. 5-2 however forces us to fight old Chunks again. 5-4 tries to force us to fight old Chunks again, but we can avoid him. The only thing preventing us to go to the end of this level is the scanner. If we do another go-by clip in the scanner room, we can use Sleep at this very specific spot that allows us to enter the door while going back to 2D. Unfortunately, we still have the other boss from this level to deal with, Crocus. He's pretty annoying since he copied Sonic Superstars' homework and made his weak spot only accessible a couple of times. After around 4 minutes of fighting the same boss, we finished chapter 5. Chapter 6. You know, the one where you have to fight 20 of these guys. They each give you 500 points. If we kill all of them, you'll gain 10,000 points by the end of this level, which is half of our current score. Fortunately, there is a trick we can do. If we clip through the bottom of the stage, switch to throw, do a short hop while grabbing the salmon guy, and jump onto the stage again, he will instantly die without giving any points. Unfortunately, we can't do this for the first guy, since his fight starts right as we enter the room. And we can't do this for 3 other guys, because they have spikes on their heads, which means we can't grab them. We did still save 8,000 points though, so this is still a win in my book. The next level has a Mimi boss fight, who has half of the HP of the previous boss, so it's just as pathetic as you think it would be. The next boss however is Brobot. Again, this guy has even more defense than before. Not even Bowser with Thunder can do a thing to him now. Nothing else in the Mario universe unfortunately does not feature green aliens or candy bars, so you're going to have to rely on items. They say getting struck by lightning once is rare, but the green thunder here just got hit by it 6 times in an extremely short period of time. And then he got killed. And then Mario got killed. Now we're in chapter 7. 7-1 is pretty uneventful, but in 7-2, Bowser decides to become a Twitter user and attacks Mario for basically no reason, leading to one of the most annoying boss fights in the entire challenge. He has 2 defense, so we unfortunately can't jump on him. We're either going to have to rely on Boomer's extremely slow bombs, or Kuj's extremely short range. 35 times. Now yes, I could have used items, but I didn't really want to use them unless they were necessary, which was exactly the case for the next boss. Goodbye, Undertale. 7-3 is nothing as usual, and 7-4 has some Scalo bits. I didn't even remember about these guys, but luckily we can just grab them with Row and throw them off. This level has another required Scalo bits fight, and one of them has a spike on his head. Instead of going all the way back to Flipside, buying another catch card, and then replaying the entire chapter, I just decided to use another method to skip that encounter, which is using a specific frame that allows you to flip between dimensions while using Thirdly, that lets you gain infinite height. That doesn't really save us from Bone Chill though. Now, since we're extremely underleveled, and since most bosses from chapter 3 onwards have been giving us a bit of trouble, you would think Bone Chill would at least pose a bit of a challenge. But no, he's still a joke. It just takes a bit longer to beat. Now remember how I said every level in chapter 3 had a boss at the end? That's the same case with chapter 8. So in 8-1, 8-2, and 8-3, we got a total of 24,000 points from Ochunks, Mimi, and Dimentio. And that's not all. In 8-2, we have to get a key to progress. We do this by collecting this mushroom that gives us 1,000 points. The loading zone only activates once you collect it, so it's unavoidable. That's still not even the last part. After we found out, we gotta kill this enemy to get the key. Unfortunately, I had forgotten about this guy as well, who looks extremely similar to the 2-1 guy. Nah, they're totally different. Also, we can't use the return pipe anymore, and I had saved after 8-1. So, is the challenge over? Did I have to restart it entirely? No, I just slipped out of bounds and threw him off reality. Also, this doesn't work on bosses if anyone was wondering about that. Anyway, we finally reached the final obstacles of the game, Count Black and Super Dementio. Black is pretty annoying since he teleports all over the place, but is still pretty manageable. Super Dementio unfortunately does not go down less than 5 hits this time, and has a lot of projectiles going around. This challenge actually made him a pretty tough fight, as long as you don't lose items, so that was nice. Anyway, after getting our final 9,990 points, we reached the end of this challenge, with our final level up to level 6, and our final score of 91,990 points. Here's a spreadsheet with all the points we've gotten. I'll post unedited versions of each level in my second channel for anyone who's curious. Also subscribe to my group channel, The 6 Bits. We play a lot of cool games there, like 3D World and Mario Party. We also have a Discord server, linked in the description of this video. Anyway, bye.